Last time that I checked, had a spot chains on my neck. It was no smell on my breath. Last time that I checked, had 7 souls in the set. Make $250,000, no sweat. Last time that I checked, in the streets, voice out west. Legendary self-made progress. Last time that I checked, first you get the money, the respect, and the power, and all else come next. Last time that I checked.
And you know this.
Yeah, I confess, Father, I confess, 'cause I've been living wrong.
What's going on, carnalitos? So yeah, man, once a G, always a G. That's pretty much just like the same thing, once a Marine is always a Marine. But there's some people that are small-minded and believe just because you're doing good for yourself, you're working a 9-to-5 job, that all of a sudden you're some kind of punk. And there's thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of us out there, whether it's in California, Texas, Arizona, New York, Chicago. I mean, you can name state after state after state. And those are kind of gangsters, or they're former gangsters now working next to regular life. People are so quick to judge a book by its cover. They think that maybe the guy they're working with is just a regular guy. You're going to press the line on him and push up on him, and he's not going to do anything. And that's when you might find yourself in a fucking wreck. Like YG song, man. My mama raised a hoe. My mama raised me to be a fucking gangster, to be a fucking stubborn son of a bitch, and it worked for me for many years when I was a young gang member out here in the streets, man. But now I'm using that energy towards a positive way. But there's still people that seem to think just because I speak in a certain way and act a certain way that I'm just this pushover. And if they try to push over on me, they'd find out very quickly that this is not the case. You know, a lot of youngsters seem to think that that this gang shit is all new because it's new to them, man. But let me tell you guys something. This ain't nothing but a rerun, man. This ain't nothing but a rerun that homies from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, even early 2000s have already gone through, man. This ain't nothing that we haven't seen. What you guys call gangbanging nowadays, I call it a typical Tuesday, man. And that was a typical Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Those days, you're going to be on the block and somebody's going to blast you at least once, twice, 3 times a week. Maybe 2 times, 3 times a day, man. That's just the lifestyle that it was. So when I hear people saying certain shit that we weren't about that there's gangsters and all that, it's like, brother, I was in the trenches, brother. And I was just in the sideline. I was in the front line, brother. And one thing, just like you see guys coming back from war that been in the shit, man. They don't want other people to go back there and go to war. And that's what I'll tell you about gangsters. Real gangsters who've been in the front line, who've been in the streets, have been through these wars. They're not trying to get their little homies out there to do that shit. They're not trying to get their little homies stuck in that madness, brother. And that's the same way I feel about it. I wouldn't want this shit for my son, my daughter, my grandkids. I wouldn't want this for any of my nephews. Because this life is going to destroy you. And don't get me wrong, the life is one of the toughest lives you can ever live, man. You're going to get shot, you're going to get stabbed, you're going to get some homies killed, you can go to prison for many years, then you get stuck in riots and all that political madness. Man, it just gets harder and harder as you go, and the older you get, the worse or the harder it is to get back into this reality and live a normal life. As somebody who's been in that front line, somebody who's been in them trenches, brother, I'm telling you from experience, homie, that shit just ain't worth it, man. The people that you think you hate, you want to kill, you're going to end up in the joint bunked up with them. You're going to end up in the joint being your yard fucking buddy. You're going to end up fucking getting in riots, and this bot's going to have your back more than some of your homies, mate. It's a fucked up world, and I'm just trying to bring light to it. But when I hear cats saying all kind of little bullshit, that you're a dropout, that you're this, first of all, a dropout is something that's in prison, brother. Get your lingo straight. A dropout is an individual that drops out of his gang in prison. Out here in the streets, maybe if you're no good in your neighborhood, you're just no good in your neighborhood. I live 5 blocks from my hood, man. I can still walk through my neighborhood. I still go there and buy beer at the same liquor store I used to go as a kid. When the motherfucker knows what's up and knows what he's got in his fucking under his armor plate, he knows the heart he's got. You don't gotta act tough, brother. Straight up. Motherfuckers that are acting tough, trying to push that way, trying to be all fucking Mr. Cholote. Those are guys who are trying to impress not just everybody else but themselves because they haven't figured out yet that they're tough enough in the game or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. All I know is that me, the way I talk here is the way you see me talking to the guys, the way you see me talking to my homies, the way you see me talking to anybody else. I don't gotta sit here and play the part here and then later on be looking like a goofy ass motherfucker. I've lost so many homies to this game, man. And I mean either dead, hooked on drugs, in prison doing life for very long stretches. And it's heartbreaking, man. Those are my boys. Those are guys I grew up with since I was fucking 14 years old. Some I went to elementary school with. You know, and what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to bring light to this fucking madness, homie. Just like me, the homie Dub V, and George from Outside the Box, man. We're guys who've been through this shit. We're guys who had homies who have died. We're guys who have, like Dub B, done a shitload of time, brother. And it's just a fucked up existence, man. You know, real recognize real, man. And you can see in my comments, you see a bunch of homies from either East LA, you see homies from up north, you see homies from OC, homies from, I mean, everywhere. When I say homies, I don't mean just Sur, I mean just guys who have been through that fucking war, man. And now are trying to live as normal of a life as they possibly can. And they know that life will destroy you, and it's destroying our people. And all we're trying to do is trying to raise our game up, brother. We're trying to raise our game up so our kids, our next generation, some are going to start going to college, some are going to start going to trade schools. We're going to start moving up the ladder of the economic system in America, man. But if we keep doing the same shit we've been doing for the last 40, 50 years, brother, it's going to be the same outcome. It's going to be a bunch of drugs in our community. It's going to be us poisoning each other with them drugs. It's us going to prison for very long times, and then we're out of the picture with our kids, and here we go again, and that cycle continues. And what we're trying to do is show that life, although it's very rooted into us, it's very part of our culture. It's something that we need to get away from as far as the drugs, as far as the gangs. I saw this video the other day. You guys should go check it out on Street Videos. They did it at Chicano Park over in San Diego, man. That's what it's about, brother. It's about raza, getting together, having a good time, not banging at each other, not shooting each other, not stabbing each other. I mean, straight having that unity. And hopefully, in years to come, we'll start getting closer and closer as a raza, man. Because we've been fighting for how many years now, brother? We've been fighting for 40, 50 years. Every single hood, anybody's from a hood that's listening to this right now. What have you gained in your neighborhood? Straight up. And I'm talking to some grown folk. I'm not talking to little kids, man. What have you gained in your neighborhood? Me, what I've gained homies that are drugged out. I've gained homies that are doing prison fucking bits. I've gained fucking kids that have no parents. And it's just a cycle of madness. And my neighborhood has actually gotten smaller and smaller from gentrification, from drug use, and from people killing each other. But as far as gaining anything in the hood, no, we haven't gained anything, brother. You know, I know it's all about that pride. I know it's about all that orgullo in the neighborhood. But we can actually have our neighborhoods, live in our neighborhoods, grow up in our neighborhoods, and have that pride. Every single gang nowadays, it's like a tribe, brother. I'm from North Hollywood, man. We got guys out here from Sun Valley. We got guys out here from Van Nuys. We got here from Canova Park, Baca, Sanford. Those are all different tribes. That's the way at least I see them. And I respect every single one of them. To me, I don't see a guy from MS, a guy from 18 as my enemy anymore. Because they're not. They're just young guys in a struggle trying to figure out how to make it in America. But they've been misguided for so many years. So they continue to do that same thing. And that's not just them. That's my homies. That's your homies too, man. So I think we as OGs in the neighborhood, if we're still around, we need to try to guide these guys in the proper direction because they're looking for guidance. Young guys, especially Latinos, that's why we have such a good structure because we're looking for guidance, we're looking for structure, and if we don't find it with our homies in a positive way, you're going to find it with the homies in a negative way. If you don't find it at home in a positive way, you can go to the streets and find it in a negative way. Some people may sit there and think, that I'm bragging, showing off my life, and that's gonna be farthest from the fucking truth, brother. I ain't got no gram, I ain't got no Facebook. I just opened this thing up within the last 6 months, and that was, like I said before, they raided my pad, the cops came and pretty much fucking exposed my life. So I said, all right, well, let's do this. I'm gonna show you what I'm doing. What I'm doing is trying to get my homies off that street life. I'm not getting a shitload of guys, but little by little, yeah, I think I'm making a difference. And hopefully they're going to start making a difference in their families. And it's going to be a ripple effect where eventually it's going to start getting smaller and smaller as far as the joining the gangs. And then we can stay in our communities, man. But as far as me showing how I live, where I live, and how my lifestyle is, that's just showing that somebody from the gutter like me, I came from Honduras, brother, when I was 6 years old, man. I lived in North Hollywood in some shitty apartments. I lived in trailers. I've lived on the streets, man. I came from the gutter, brother. And now I'm just a regular fucking guy, for the most part, at least, for the most part. And if I can make a regular fucking life now out of being from where I came from, brother, we all can, man. I'm just trying to be that guy that you can look at and say, fuck, dude, this fool made it, why can't I? Instead of being the guy rolling in the fucking nice ride, slanging dope, robbing, doing snap, because you know what? That's what homies are gonna look at. I did it. You know, you look at the guys. They got the girls. They got the rides. They seem popular as fuck. That's what I saw as a kid. I saw these older gang members, and I said, fuck, that's what I want to be. But what I didn't see, what was left after all that fun and games, which was you're in a box. You're dying. You're getting paralyzed. It's just people are turning to drug addicts. It's a fucked up lifestyle once you pay the price, because in life, it don't matter what you do. you gotta pay the price, man. You gotta pay the piper, and there's no way about it. People think they're gonna party all these years. Well, guess what? You can party through your whole 20s and 30s, man. Once you turn 40, like I said, you can wake up 40 years old with no job experience, no jale, and no family because everybody's tired of your shit. Well, I'm kind of feeling like, listen, we can look now at what happened to gangs from the 70s, 80s, 90s. We're in 2019. We can fast forward. We can fast forward and look at all the homies from back then and see what happened to them. And you know what? A lot of them, sadly, are dead, are in prison, and just having some fucking rough lives, brother. And I don't want that for my homies. Just like I don't want that for you guys, man. You know, maybe I'm crazy, and I am a little bit crazy, but I'm seeing this like a grassroots movement, man. I think that this is gonna grow into something a little bit larger than what we have, and hopefully we can start connecting with other guys from even upstate, from other states, and kind of start talking about the issues we have in our communities, man. The poverty that we have in our communities and how to get out of it. And first and foremost, we gotta realize that we've been killing each other for nothing for all these years, man. That we're fighting other people's wars, man. Most gangs have been out for, I don't know, 30 years. I mean, there's some new ones, but most at least have been out for about 30 years. So that means most of the guys that are joining gangs now are fighting for a gang that maybe two guys got into a fight over a girl, or these vatos were fucking mad dogging each other and they started fighting. I mean, I've seen so many gang wars and they start over some petty ass shit and they just continue to grow and grow. They escalate. I believe when the gangs first started, it was a lot of little territory, like in my neighborhood. It was a lot of little territory. They were a football team. They became a neighborhood, and before they would pretty much fight a lot. It wasn't too much shooting. I still remember in the late 80s when we would go in and straight fucking rumble with fools. I mean, the homies would take a gun. I'm sure the other guys would have a gun, but we'd go there a couple carloads deep. We'd go in there and we straight rumble. And the guns really wouldn't get into play until people started getting their feelings hurt. And then the guns came to play and it's got more and more dangerous. But I don't think the original homies intended us to get that far. But like anything else, we start escalating. To me, it's like this. Like tattoos. Back in the days, no, man, you don't get no tattoos on your arms. That's only guys coming out to join. I mean, you start off on your body, then you go to your arms, but then what happened? People want to look tougher and tougher. Now it's all over our face. Sagging pants. I remember when brothers used to start sagging. They sagged about this much, and then every 5 years they went more and more. Now you got guys all the way down to their fucking knees because they feel like they're tougher. Same thing with pantalones. We start off a little bit of baggy pants, went from 40 to 50s. At the end, you got like fucking size 55 or 60 looking fucking straight ridiculous, homie. But that's what it is because we're all trying to outdo each other. But what we need to realize is this is not a competition, homie. This is not a competition, man. When we talk about gangs, we talk about this. Me, it's not a competition, brother. Because if you think you're winning, that means you're really losing. If your hood's tougher, if you think your neighborhood's tougher, that just tells me your hood's poorer. That just means your hood has more problems than my hood. And me, I would like all our neighborhoods to come up, man. Because when our neighborhoods come up the right way, our kids come up. And our future comes up with it, man. So with all that being said, carnalitos, I hope you guys have a great weekend. And hey, I see a lot of views up here, so you guys hit that subscribe button, man. And the comments are great. And also remember, don't judge a book by its cover because I look like this now, but I once was like this.
'Cause I've been living wrong.